Tales of the Sacred Sword. This week's tale is about secrets that are better shared than kept. Episode 34, A Penny for Your Thoughts. Many things happen in the great city of Peloria. Many things are said by its thousands of citizens. Lies leap from lips, and truths are told from tongues. But also, many sounds of secrets go unspoken. In the center of town, throngs of people went about their shopping. Bakers bartered bread. Farmers offed their food. Health workers hawked their homemade elixirs. Amisa grabbed 7 daisies in her hand. With her other hand, she grabbed a knife and chopped the ends so the flowers were all the same length. Then she grabbed a thin vine and wrapped it around the stems in an intricate pattern, then tied it in an even more intricate bow. She had done this so many hundreds of times, she needn't pay any attention. While she worked, her mind and eyes were elsewhere. There was only one thing that took all her attention. If only he would give her the attention back. Baden worked with the effort of an ox pulling a plow, and the focus of a lion stalking a lamb. He sucked in a great gulp of air and blew down a long, skinny pipe. The glass glowed orange, and then expanded as he twirled, as he had done hundreds of times before. A beautiful glass vase, round at the bottom and skinny in the middle. It reminded him of the ideal shape of a woman, just like Amisa's shape. He loved her, but how could he tell her? How could he ask her to marry, with the way her father disapproved of Baden's work? Once all the hard work was completed, he placed it on the counter as a finished product. He watched his completed work, admiring it. But it didn't matter what he thought of it. Only one person's opinion mattered. Kalen had spotted the finished vase, but turned away from it to finish his work. He hammered hot metal until it was thin as paper. He had run this shop for over half his life. Baden was watching him and trying not to be obvious about it. But the young man was too honest to be sneaky. Kalen waited for the vase to cool. There was no point in inspecting it until he could handle it with his bare hands. Then he lifted it high, so the sunlight shined through it. It was perfectly clear, with a faint prism color effect. Baden's work was masterful. It always was. Kalen didn't give the vase the attention he should have. He only had one eye on it. His attention was elsewhere. Kalen looked up at his daughter Amisa. How could he focus on Baden's work, knowing her sadness? He saw the way she looked at Baden, and he saw the way Baden didn't look at her. And so that's how their day went. The same as every other day had gone for moons. Amisa, Baden, and Kalen, with their artisan crafts and flower holders, and sold them to the middle class of Peloria. They began to wind down their shop as the sun set behind the city walls. Each smiled at the other, each harboring their hidden sadness. A strange man in clothes unlike the trio had ever seen before approached Kalen's shop. Kalen nodded to Amisa to help the stranger as he and Baden packed up the shop. "Can I help you?" Anisa smiled as she spoke to the stranger. "Oh, I just love your shop, but I don't have much money. What could I get for a penny?" The stranger brandished a penny as he spoke. A penny was the lowest form of currency in all of Peloria. you generally couldn't buy anything with a penny. Usually, you had to combine several pennies into a 7-piece to even afford a drink at the pub. Not that Amisa spent any time at pubs. She preferred to spend all her time with Baden. And for that reason, she didn't mind working long hours. Upon further inspection of the man's clothes, it made sense he only had a penny to spend. The clothes were not local, but they were not quality either. The man looked as if he had not the means to afford a home of his own. Amisa took pity on him, then spoke. "For a penny, I can give you a daisy, freshly picked this morning." Amisa extended the daisy to the man. The man took the flower, then extended the penny to her, but paused before dropping it into her palm. "A penny for your thoughts?" Amisa spoke without thinking. She spoke freely and without inhibition. "I wake up excited every morning, because as soon as I arrive at work, I know I will see him. Other than holidays, I spend every day with my father and Baden. Ah, Baden, I smile when I see him. I smile when I think of him. He is handsome and works tirelessly with my father, and outpaces him. He never utters an unkind word. Then I go home at night and think of him as I fall asleep. Yet I am sad, because I do not think he feels the same about me." Amisa covered her mouth in horror that she had spoken her thoughts aloud. She bumped into Baden. He was as thick as an oak tree. Baden smiled and apologized to her. Her cheeks were reddening so much she could feel it. She hoped more than anything that he had not heard her. She had intended to give the penny to her father, but giving it to Baden gave her an excuse to talk to him. "A penny for your thoughts?" Amisa spoke as she dropped the penny into Baden's open and confused palm. Baden spoke without thinking. He spoke freely and without inhibition. "Amisa, you have no idea of my struggle. I wake up excited every morning, because as soon as I arrive at work, I know I will see you. Other than holidays, I spend every day with you and your father. Your smile gives me more energy than the sun, and you are more beautiful than the dawn. I long for nothing more than to spend my days loving you and running this shop. Yet I am sad because I do not think your father approves of me. How can I ask for his blessing to ask you to marry me when he thinks my craftsmanship shoddy and unworthy of becoming his successor?" Baden ran away. He wasn't sure if he had said the words aloud or thought them in his mind. Either way, he was too ashamed to face Amisa. He handed the penny to Kaelin and spoke. "A last piece of revenue for the day. A penny for your thoughts?" Baden spoke as he dropped the penny into Kaelin's open and confused palm. Kaelin spoke without thinking. He spoke freely and without inhibition. "Oh, Amisa, you have no idea of my struggle. I wake up excited every morning, because as soon as I arrive at work, I know I will see you and Baden. Other than holidays, I spend every day with the two of you. You smile at Baden and long for him to ask you to marry. Baden is kind, strong, and the best worker I have ever met. He would be unparalleled as a son-in-law, and no one would be better suited to take over my business when my bones become too aged to do this work. I long for nothing more than to see the two of you marry and continue this work." Kaelin's heart raced. He prayed in silence that Amisa and Baden had not heard him, but they had. The three of them stared in disbelief at the unnecessary secrets they had harbored. The mysterious man placed his purchased daisy in the vase Baden had completed. He smiled at them all and took his penny back from Kaelin's startled palm, and then spoke a final time before leaving. "A penny for your thoughts, perhaps? I think the three of you have much to discuss, and have many happy days ahead of you." Amisa grabbed Baden by the hair above his ears, pulled him in close, and kissed him. With that, the mysterious man walked away, and was never again seen by Amisa, Baden, or Kaylin. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. I write and record these tales weekly. If you enjoy them, please click the like and subscribe buttons, along with the bell notification, and leave a comment. Thank you.